Welcome to Wedding Waffle, a very chatty podcast with three industry professionals covering all things wedding, including your dilemmas, shocking stats, and just general wedding chit-chat. Get cosy and join us as we discuss anything and everything to do with weddings. Absolutely nothing is off limits. Brought to you by Bouquet Bells, together with Flowers at the Dutch Barn and the Red Rose Cake Company. Welcome back to Wedding Waffle. I am Claire from Bouquet Bells, joined with
Julie from the Red Rose Cake Company
and Caroline from Flowers at the Dutch Barn.
Woohoo! We're back. So, as always, let's dive straight in. We asked our followers if they purchased a wedding magazine whilst engaged, and 61% of people said they did. So why do you think wedding magazines are beneficial for couples, and do you think they will ever be a thing of the past? What do you reckon?
Well, I like reading. I like books. I like anything that you can actually hold and move through. And I think I've never had a Kindle or anything like that because I like reading a book. I like the whole experience of a book. Yeah. So I should imagine a magazine is much the same principle, that you can go back and look at it any time you like, or if you get an idea from it, you can cut it out. Or
it's tangible, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not online. Life's too online. I'm a dinosaur.
No, you're right. All you do all day is stare at your computer, stare at your phone, or I do anyway. And then it's quite nice, I think, to have something physical, a physical copy of something that you can put down when you want, pick up when you want, and then there's it's quite nice, isn't it?
I like a magazine.
And
I think.
Do you think they would ever
I
go
don't think
away?
they will. I don't think they will. I think they have done. I think when I started wedding planning a long time ago, there was quite a few on the market, and then the pandemic hit, and you couldn't get them anywhere. And then even now, there's like one in the supermarkets, and then and I get loads of brides and grooms say to me, we're really struggling, we can't get hold of them. And then I give them one of yours, Claire.
Yes, I do the same.
Excited. And it is that tangible thing, isn't it? No, I don't think they'll go anywhere. I think that it's part of the excitement for a wedding, I think.
I think it is, isn't it? I think it's kind of a given. Well, for me it was anyway. It was, okay, we're engaged, we need ideas.
Let's go shopping!
Exactly. Aside from the wedding shit, and obviously there's a lot of stuff online. I see you find a lot of your suppliers online and do all of that, which is great. But then to actually go out and buy a magazine, but also finding a magazine that's local to your area, because a lot of the magazines in shops are great for ideas, but then it's suppliers that are nationwide.
Yes.
So you may see something you love and then it's not going to be reachable for your own wedding, which, so it was quite nice to have a magazine that was more local. So, and
it's also nice to have something. I mean, there's aspirational and there's inspirational, isn't it? So something you look at and you think, wow. But other things, we were talking about that. I don't know who we were talking about it with, but we were talking about, I had seen that picture she had where there was a car park. And one floor of the car park had been turned into a wedding venue.
Oh, yeah.
And it was amazing, just this big empty space. And, okay, it's a car park, and you probably wouldn't want your car park for a wedding, but it's about recognising that's a space that is unusual and could perhaps be turned into something.
So, on the budget.
And a damn good events coordinator.
Definitely.
But why wouldn't you do that in your garden, or why wouldn't you do that in a TP or a marquee or something like
hall or something?
I think it makes you look and be a bit more open-minded about things, as opposed to, do I have to just go to a venue that is a wedding venue?
Think outside the box.
And especially as the law's changing, because the law's going to change so that more places can be, I don't know what the word is, but you can have a wedding at. So why wouldn't you look at
car parks?
Car park. Not sure Sainsbury's the right place. Imagine all the guests on shopping trolleys.
So would do that. Just fill in the potholes.
Okay, so we've done that then. Absolutely. We've desecrated.
So we're all agreed on that.
Yeah.
Go and get yourself a magazine.
Yes. And if you're at it, Bouquet and Bells do a wonderful magazine twice a year. I'm just
Thank you
chanting for you, Claire.
Thank you very much. Okay, what did you or what do you think you will enjoy most about planning your wedding day? Well, Julie and I have been there, done that, and Caroline, you're going through the process, shall we say?
Starting all over again.
Yeah, thanks to COVID.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, what do you think?
Food tasting. Best bit.
I
From
agree.
our first experience when we were getting married in France, the food was great. Food and wine, that was good.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many elements, isn't there, from choosing your guests to choosing your flowers, choosing your cake, choosing your food, choosing your dress.
Yeah.
And some people have the thing that they want. It's all about the dress, for example. Yes. But for me, it wasn't. It was about the food. Yeah, that was really excited about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's...
Yeah.
It's all of it. But a lot of people complain about the guest list. Because I find that really difficult.
I have to say that was my worst. That was the worst part for me by a country mile. It was so stressful from start to finish. And looking back, I'm thinking, why? Because I think it was the whole, we should invite them, or they should come because we went to theirs, or, whatever. But then actually John was saying to me, well, have you spoken to them in the last year? No. Right, okay then, well, why are they coming to the wedding?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was that I think was quite a good logic to go on, and a good, then it made us, help us make that decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I loved every other element. Absolutely loved it. And
that's you all over, isn't it? Me, it's my worst nightmare. I can't even think of doing. I was glad it was just a small, intimate wedding because I couldn't have dealt with. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to take
working weddings.
You're like, yeah, I know, I'm useless, aren't I?
You're never actually there on the day, though, are you? You just do the cakes, you deliver the cake,
yeah,
and then you're gone.
Absolutely, you don't have to be part of the rest of it. But I think when you listen to some couples and they're struggling to concentrate and focus their minds on different elements, and I'm thinking,
so annoying.
Yeah, that. I don't want to do that. You find that annoying. I know in the wedding industry.
Do you know what it is? Because I ask people to come prepared. Because I don't have all the hours of the day to spend listening about, well, should we invite Auntie so-and-so from such and such? And I'm thinking, why are you talking about this when we're talking about flowers? Like, it's not relevant.
Yeah.
And I've sat there and, and it might sound really hard.
Into your hour.
It eats it 2 hours at this rate. And it's not everybody, but I always say, please bring a list of what you'd like and give me some ideas, because otherwise I haven't got a clue. I can't read your mind. But it is a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
I get that when somebody will
Yeah.
text me and say, I'm getting married on so-and-so, could you give me an idea of price? I don't know, what for? What for? Cake? Flowers? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Let me into your mind.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And I struggle to answer that with a polite response of, I'm not sure what you're thinking of.
Is that though? I got it as well, Julie. It's fine.
Yeah.
I am nice, but I'm struggle sometimes.
So make sure you know what you're roughly wanting before getting in touch with suppliers.
I would employ Claire. Because it's not for me.
I was proper like Monica off Friends. I was so organised, but actually not in terms of the admin and all that stuff. My mum actually, I think I've said in the previous episode, my mum handled that, so that was taken completely off me. But in terms of, my brain was constantly thinking, well, how's the day going to run, and do we need this and do we need that, and have I sorted this and and I loved it. I thrived. But my sister, because we got married 8 weeks apart, she was the total opposite, and she fell apart basically during the whole wedding planning process because it was so stressful, and she really struggled with everything. I think the pressure
concept
and the concept of everything, and I actually think a smaller wedding probably would have suited her better because it would have simplified everything a little bit more. But hey ho, the date came and went and everything was fine. So it's, again, you think, well, why stress?
Would you recommend a wedding planner then, if you're that kind of person?
I think if you're that kind of person, yeah, because also she got so stressed out that she herself couldn't face the admin side of things.
Yeah,
so I think in that scenario you could pass it all over.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to quite a few weddings where they've got somebody who's doing the organisation just on the day.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, really
I think they come in, that's quite a hefty decision, isn't it? Where, you've done everything and then you take that pressure off yourself by handing that to somebody else, but you've briefed them properly.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of venues have coordinators, don't like on the day coordinators.
And they basically just
take
over, watch everything, make sure timings are right, make sure everything goes smoothly, but also without putting the pressure on you, because the last thing you want on your wedding day is someone pulling you away from a situation or dragging you over to another situation and saying, you must do this now. There's a fine balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
I think, that wedding we did, the event company, they were there, they were very good.
Which one was this?
Heather's.
Oh, yeah.
Event company, but she was only there on the day, wasn't she?
Yeah, and it was the lead up when the marquee was going on.
Someone external from the venue? Or
it was
a marquee
okay.
wedding, but they had an event company that just came in on the day, really.
Yeah.
But they threw everything together, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And really, I kind of never thought of it before that. But then after that, I thought, that's a really good idea. And since then, I've seen it quite a few times.
I think especially if you're having a tent wedding.
Yeah.
Especially because they are always more work.
Yeah.
If you're having it at home or whatever, you're doing everything yourself, aren't you? You've got no team behind you other than your family. And I've seen a bride up a tree before hanging lights, so I wouldn't recommend. Definitely get help.
Quite a few, especially with North Wales, I see lots of, farm weddings, for want of a better word, but
they're
they've
popular,
got
aren't they now?
Yeah, there's lots of them here because everybody owns a bit of land, so it's ideal. But they're setting up for a good couple of weeks before the wedding, getting all the stuff done. Always great.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse to tidy your house, isn't
it?
Allegedly.
Well, I guess this one leads on from that one. Did you worry, or do you worry about having rain on your wedding day?
See, I did. That's one reason why we chose France, because the weather was better. But now, I'm like, meh. If it rains, it rains, because some of the photos are incredible.
I know.
And I never appreciated it. I think my thing is right. So one of my biggest bugbear is getting your feet wet. Like, obviously not when you're in the shower and stuff, but like
you went in the shower.
I so would. But as in, like, when you go out shopping and it starts raining, you've got the wrong footwear. So I was always like, I don't want wet feet on my wedding day, and you don't want your dress getting wet and guests getting soggy, frizzy hair. But actually, when you look at some of these photos that photographers take, and you think, oh, they are the tits. They're amazing. But
and the couple have gone with it. They've actually braved it, and I agree with you. I never thought about it. I've always thought, oh, what a shame. And then when you see some of the images and you think, whoa.
Especially in like snow and things as well. You're like,
awesome.
But also, if it's going to rain on your wedding day, the likelihood of it raining from start to finish is so slim. There's always going to be a break in the rain anyway. And you've just got to hope that ties in with your drinks reception that's out on the terrace. But, photographers also are very good at gauging. So they'll keep an eye on the weather for you as well. And they'll say, if it's been a torrential rain morning, they'll grab you when the time is right to go and get those outdoor photographs.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think there's been some, I think in the last couple of years, whether it's because we've had more time to look at that or consider different things, but I just think some of the imagery that's come out in the last few years has been absolutely stunning, of weddings that are not the perfect day as people would think.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather rain over extreme heat. Because
yes, absolutely.
From a business point of view, flowers, they're grown. They need water, so they're better.
Yeah.
Heat and flowers are not ideal. I did a marquee wedding last July, hottest day of the year. Oh my goodness, it was 34 degrees. My van ran. Was it more than that? I can't remember. Anyway, so it was really hot in the van, but the marquee I was sweltering. You couldn't breathe, and the whole time I was just panicking about the flowers after we left. And the photographer messaged me saying flowers are fine. Yes. Cake, however, slid because it was buttercream, and they wanted it in at a certain time. She put it in as late as she could, so she put it in at 3 o'clock, and as soon as they got married at 2 at the church. So she did what she could, but the first thing they did when they got to the marquee was cut the cake, and it was sliding, and you just say, oh my goodness, buttercream, not a good idea, was it, Julie?
Yeah, I just think, you see, I've done that, but I've never had a problem, and I just think the buttercream will go soft, but it's not going to drip. It should.
Oh no, the cake
drip.
literally.
But then
slips
I
inside.
think it's about. For me, it would be that's not stacked properly.
Right.
That's not being dealt with properly. You've got to cater for all. Same as you. You know, you're thinking that's your skill.
Yeah.
So, you know, when people say to me, "Oh, the cake slid," I'm thinking, "Well, what did you do wrong then?"
Don't look at me. I didn't do that.
Did you knock it?
The flowers survived. That's the main
well, that's
thing.
all that matters.
Yeah,
then,
but
isn't
it's this thing. I would prefer a cool day over a hot day.
I had to say, I was terrified at the time. I was terrified of it raining because we got married at Tower Hill Barns, and you think about all of the outdoor spaces, and
But
it is about the outdoors there. And I remember thinking, if it was to, it would be such a shame. But then, do you know what? On the day, would people have even cared? Probably not really.
No, and they were around, and that's the beauty of a venue that can cater inside and outside.
Yeah.
So it isn't all one or the other.
Yeah.
I think that is something that if I was getting married again, I'd really look at is, can they cater? Can I have the best of all worlds?
Yeah.
And lots of them are doing that now. They can.
So if it's raining, if it's torrential, it's okay because we've got this as plan B or whatever. Yeah. Good shout. Well, I guess there's some pros, isn't there? So cloud creates amazing lighting, photos, number one, that's great. Hay fever's reduced, great. And flowers are less likely to wilt. And your cake's less likely to fall. Unless Julie's made it, it will never fall.
Don't say that.
So we asked people, we did a poll on this, and we asked people if they were worried about rain on their day, and 47% said they're terrified, and 53% said they're not fussed.
So it's 50-50 really, isn't
I know, so I was actually quite surprised by that.
Yeah.
I thought people would be much more afraid of it raining.
No.
There we go. So, are you going to, or did you have your pet involved at your wedding?
Oh, I'd love to have Ewok
Would
at our
you?
wedding, but he'll just go psycho. He'll go one way or the other. He'll either go really shy and scared, or he'll just run riot. I'd have him come in for a bit there and have a few photos.
Yeah.
Get the dog hair all over us, and then he can go off and play. Yeah, I'd have him.
Yeah, I'd have Millie there.
Would you?
Yeah. She'd, like you, she'd either demolish everything on the table. She'd be, in fact, you could just
Eagles,
leave it
isn't it?
you just leave it to clean up underneath the table. She'd be well away. But she'd be nervous of lots of noise and lots of people.
Yeah.
But so I think it's a great idea, but I think you've got to know your animal and know how they'll cope.
Yes.
Because it's not just about you having great pictures, is it? It's how the animal will cope.
Yeah, and you know
with
your...
all those things going on.
Yeah. I think the idea of it I really like.
Yeah.
But then the reality of it, I just know wouldn't have been anything like what would have been the ideal, basically. But lots more people are doing it, aren't they? It's really popular now to have your doggy all dressed up.
With
and
dogs, but not with like a rabbit. Like, can you imagine?
I've never seen a rabbit at a wedding.
I've never seen a
That'd be
rabbit.
really cute, wouldn't it? Or a
Or a
cat.
ferret.
It would look
I brought my rat to life.
If you've got a parrot or something like that on your shoulder through the ceremony.
Well, it's dogs, isn't it? We just always assume dogs. But
Dogs.
what if you've got a rabbit? Or a
I've seen
hamster?
horses. I've seen
Horses,
I've seen field bride horse shots going on. You know, like the morning of the wedding.
Yeah, I like a bride coming in on the horse. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, so that's quite cool.
I don't
But then
like
the horses,
Do you know this
well,
scare me?
yeah, they're a bit big and I'm allergic. So.
No, I'd love it. Love it.
I'd like it to be. I'd have carriage, but sat on the back of a horse, I'd be so scared.
I know, I'd love that.
At least with a horse, it's pretty like.
What about a herd of cows?
I've seen that.
What about one?
I've seen cows though. You know, at fields, at farm weddings, and the cows are all in the background.
Yeah,
that's quite nice.
and that's easy because they're contained and they're happy.
They're not actually guests.
They're not guests. Alpacas as well. Alpacas. We had alpacas at the Shropshire Wedding Fair. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Do they not have the most expressive faces?
I don't really understand them, to be honest.
Do you not?
What's the point of an alpaca?
And I'm
They do
just
have a
scared.
tendency. Well, is that llamas that spit?
I was going to say.
I don't know if alpacas do.
I'm not sure.
Can you imagine that? A quick
They're like
faceful.
baby versions of llamas, aren't they? They're sweet and maybe a good photo opportunity if you're having a farm barn wedding.
Yes.
If you're having a manor house wedding,
Something
probably
a bit
not.
different.
One of my couples is getting married at a zoo.
Oh, there we
Just
go.
to do, yeah.
Got everything
I
there.
know, I
Lions.
love that as an idea.
Alligator.
Yeah,
Penguins.
and you've got all like the giraffes and the elephants. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous.
I'm jealous of that. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Well, you're replanning.
I know, and Carl's like, no.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I'm going to at the zoo. I was like,
Aw.
oh.
There we go then. So, okay, we did a survey.
As you do.
As we did. We did a poll. And 25% of people said they had their pet at their wedding.
Is that it?
I thought that was quite high.
Oh, I don't think that's high enough.
No, I was
that's 1 in
expecting
4.
more.
That's quite a lot. 1 in 4
Yeah.
weddings.
Have their pet at the wedding.
Have
But
their-
I suppose you haven't got those that are you having your pet at the wedding.
Yeah.
So only getting the ones who did have.
Who did have.
And not everybody has a pet, or if they do, it's not necessarily an easy pet to transport.
Imagine if the groom suddenly pulls out a rat out of his pocket. Everybody'd vanish.
With a little bow tie on.
Yeah.
Can't stand rodents. No.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Well, for our wedding, we dropped Bob off at a private babysitter because we were like, you know, obviously, yeah. He lived a life of luxury whilst we got married, basically, and she only had him for a night, and she was very local to where we got married at the church, and she had said afterwards that she was going to try and get over with Bob just as we were coming out the church. Then we would have been greeted by Bob, and when I sort of wish she hadn't told me that, because I really would have loved that, and in the end she couldn't because her husband had the car and she couldn't get over or something. But she told me that when we picked Bob up the next day, and I would have liked that because she would have had him, looked after him. We would have said a quick hello, quick photographs with Bob, just married, and then Bob would have been whisked away again back to her house. And that, I think that's nice. But having to worry about your dog for the whole day,
Yeah, no, I'd be
I
worried.
couldn't be dealing with that.
Yeah.
I'd be sat down thinking, where's Bob? What's he doing? Is he chasing the sheep? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the pet chaperones are quite good though, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they
It's
are
like
good.
new companies.
So then they do take that off you, don't
Yeah.
they?
But then my concern with that, like Ewoks are rescue, just like Bob is, but will he be comfortable around those people? And I know they do all the prep sessions and stuff, but it's very different on the day, and it's quite a responsibility looking after somebody else's pet.
Yeah. There's something else to think about as well as
yeah.
a couple.
But I like the idea of like just half an hour and then
Yeah.
Kingdom Place.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a couple of pictures.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
You see, no, I know Millie, she'd get upset about that if she was leaving. I'd feel terrible.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
having to see you and then go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she'd want to touch herself to Paul.
Yeah.
Dad, you're here. I found you at last. Yeah, I couldn't do it. No, in a little high-vis jacket. Yeah.
Well, there we go then. That's cute. So there we go. That rounds off that episode. Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye. Bye.